Guys, I think I may have found the worst animated movie of all time. It's worse than Over the North, worse than the Ninjago movie, and even worse than the Emoji movie. It's a pretty obscure film, so I won't be shocked if you haven't heard of it, but it's called Ozzy, okay? And it has to be one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I don't really know how to start this, so let's just jump into it. So the movie is about this family, alright? And the parents are comic book creators. And they soon find out that they have been invited to a comic book festival of sorts in Japan. But their dog, Ozzy, can't go to Japan. Why, you might be asking? Because movie! Because the movie has to happen. And they end up watching a commercial on TV for a dog hotel called Blue Creek. What are the chances? The commercial seems too good to be true, but the parents have no other choice since this is their only chance to get their comic book recognized, so they just send Ozzy away. Now this is a big problem, simply because there's tons of other options. They could have just left Ozzy with someone else at their house, which was a concept that was actually thrown around in the movie, but they just ended up not doing that. So it turns out that it's actually an amazing dog hotel, and everything goes perfectly. Just kidding, it's actually a dog prison. And this is where one of the biggest problems of this movie arises. Why is there a need for a dog prison instead of a hotel? Why? They could have just made a mediocre hotel and marketed it as a extremely good hotel. In fact, why did they even do this? I suppose it's to make money, but why would they commit animal cruelty just so they can... I think you're starting to see why my brain committed suicide. Okay, I'm going to try my best to explain this problem. Okay, so this big corporation, I guess, needs money. So they decide to make a dog hotel. But wait, they can't just make a straightforward dog hotel. What they have to do is make a dog prison. So they can make money easier and make the dogs do labor work. If you haven't noticed from the scenes I've been playing, they have the entirety of an actual good dog hotel built. And there's dogs that are in the hotel already having a good time, and the family visits this fake hotel and thinks it's gonna be extremely well. Why don't they just make it a legitimate dog hotel and put in all that effort so they can make actual good money and get good reviews, thinking get more customers, and make more money than if it wasn't a real dog hotel? Their excuse for why their dog hasn't come back is because they died. That's what they tell people. Even if their dog was healthy, they just tell them that they died so they can continue keeping them in this dog prison. This has to be one of the worst plans I've ever heard in any movie. Gah! So anyways, Ozzy meets this other dog, I forget what his name is, but he wants to escape. You can come if you want. Yes, that's an actual line he says in the actual movie. Yes, I'm vegan. Yes, I eat meat. We exist. And also, how has nobody noticed that so many pups die when they go to this hotel? I feel like somebody would have noticed at one point or another. So anyways, Ozzy soon meets a whole bunch of other forgettable characters, and I'm sure you guys really don't care. They're basically just your typical animated kids movie stereotypes of characters. Alright, back to complaining about things. Okay, so there are tons of lines in this movie that I noticed are just put in the movie to be put in the trailer for the movie. And I was proven right when I watched the trailer after seeing the movie. There's so many problems with this. Why couldn't they have just made exclusive scenes for the trailer and not putting them in the movie? Like, maybe they just couldn't do that. Maybe their lawyers wouldn't let them do that, or maybe they didn't know they could do that. Then why even put the scenes in the movie anyway? Was it that important to have those scenes in the trailer? They're just the most cliched things ever. Like, Okay, so I know I'm not doing a really good job at explaining this, so I'm gonna give y'all an example. So in the movie, there's this guard dog, and when he first meets Ozzy, he tells him something, and just take a listen to this line.
Here I am God. I see all, I hear all, I smell all, I know all. Any last bark?
That scene was in the trailer, but it was also in the movie. Like, just imagine that scene that I just played for you. It sort of makes sense in a trailer context, but just imagine that just in the movie. That is literally what happens. That exact line is in it. And there's tons of other ones. There's this clear Godfather parody that says, "Do you want to run for me, kid?" And that's also used in the trailer, and it comes out of nowhere in the movie. Like, what? Same thing with the "Any Last Barks" line that you also heard. That line is also in the movie. Am I missing something here? Are people not allowed to make up scenes for the trailers? You do know that every single Pixar movie has had a trailer that has been different from the movie. Anyways, so the basic plot of this movie is that Godfather parody from earlier wants Ozzy to run in a race for him, because earlier it was established that Ozzy likes to run. But the warden is against this idea and doesn't like the Godfather parody, which his name is Vito, I just remembered. So anyways, the warden wants to rig the races using Ozzy. Now this part I also don't understand. Why does the warden need to do this? Is it just to get back at Vito? Like, why does he want to rig the races? Part of the movie is completely pointless, and it's just establishing the warden as a secondary villain to the owner. So anyways, near the end of the movie, on the day of the race that Ozzy was supposed to run in, him and his crew trick the warden. And when Ozzy finally shows up for the race, he does a big speech on how they're all being oppressed by the warden, even though it's really not his fault, and Ozzy and his crew escape and go home to their families. Whoopity-doo. This plot is just bad, okay? It's overcomplicated for no reason, and it just makes no sense. Alright, let's just talk about the acting for a moment, because it is god-awful. Every character delivers their line poorly, there's tons of exposition, and there's tons of very awkward scenes where the characters just grunt and huff, like, and I don't know why they did that. They could have easily done that with dialogue or a good soundtrack, but they just made it be so awkward. So anyways, guys, that was my rant on Ozzy, okay? Consider this video a warning to stay away from this movie at all costs. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you on the flip-flop. Goodbye.